Hannah Montana was data. The dream was data. Let's go back to Hannah Montana because little Tiffany saying, I want to be Hannah Montana. I wasn't actually giving adults a career plan. She was giving them data. Media, once again, fashion, once again, communication, creativity, audience, visibility, story, business, right? Years later, look at the pattern. Real estate, business, marketing, media, strategy. My God, sound familiar? Storytelling, publishing, and now strategically sold stories. Come on. I'm Hannah Montana, guys. The fuck? Maybe the childhood dream wasn't as ridiculous as it fucking sounded. Pat yourself on the back, right? The literal interpretation was just impossible. I couldn't be Miley Cyrus wearing a block. The info underneath it, that was valuable. Maybe when children tell us what they're obsessed with, we shouldn't immediately ask if it's realistic or not. First ask, what is this telling me about them, right? What does this mean? What is this human child fucking speaking about, right? So that's where it led me to the decision to act. And then I found this. I had written decision to act, highlighted in blue. That became the title of this episode because eventually understanding yourself isn't enough. Understanding your childhood isn't enough. Understanding why something didn't work isn't enough. Research isn't enough. Self-awareness is not enough. Eventually, you have to decide what you're going to do with the information. Okay, finally, I did it. You can spend years explaining why you are where you are, your school, your childhood, your mommy, your daddy, your relationships, your brother, your sister, your circumstances. I don't care, your failures, your mistakes. Some of those explanations may be completely legitimate. Understanding them is what matters. But explanation and strategy are not the same thing, you guys. They're not the same thing. Get that out of your head. Explanation does not equal strategy, okay? Eventually you have to ask, what am I doing? What am I going to do with what I know now? That's the decision to act, not on a screen being Hannah Montana. So this brings me to the flower that I wrote, okay? It's called the dead flower metaphor, actually. In these papers, a flower, I originally wrote about relationships. A flower needs multiple things to survive: light, water, nutrients, the right environment. Remove enough of them, and eventually the petals fall off. Reading it now, I think I was accidentally describing development. People need challenge. Challenge without enough support can become defeat. People need autonomy, but autonomy without structure can become chaos. And then it was, people need standards. People have to have standards, but standards without context can feel meaningless, right? So people need feedback, but feedback without belonging can become identity. So structure plus autonomy, challenge plus support, standards plus context, feedback plus belonging. Maybe the answer isn't maximum discipline, and maybe it isn't maximum freedom. Maybe the better question is, how do we design environments where structure and autonomy work together? Let's think. So this is also a business story. Yeah, this isn't just about school. No, it's not just about school. And this is where the story becomes strategically sold stories, because businesses do this too. A company hires someone because of their strengths, then puts them into standardized systems, then spreads enormous amounts of time correcting everything they don't naturally do well. Eventually, the employee disengages. Wow. Imagine that. Management calls it a performance problem. The employee calls it a terrible company. Sometimes one side is right, sometimes both sides are wrong. And sometimes the design is a problem or something. Strength is role, motivation, accountability, mission. So good systems need standards. Employees need accountability. Schools need goddamn curriculum. Students need foundational knowledge. But a good system doesn't only ask, can everybody comply with the process? It also asks, how do we get the required outcome while making a better use of the humans inside the system? That's strategy. Stansberry Media and Strategy. Here I am, not Hannah Montana. Imagine that. The decision to act. We have 5 questions here that we need to answer together. So I want to leave you with these 5 questions for students, parents, teachers, employees, leaders, founders, and yourself. Question 1, what is actually being measured? Don't confuse measurement with an entire human being. A grade measures something, sales quota measures something, an interview measures something. None of them completely describe human capability. Question number 2, what creates engagement? Where does this person voluntarily invest effort? Pay attention to curiosity. Curiosity is information. Where does competence appear? That's question 3. What do they learn quickly? What problems do they naturally solve? What do people consistently ask them to help with? What are they good at? God damn it. Question number 4. What standard cannot be compromised? Personalization doesn't mean removing accountability. Identify the required outcome. Then ask whether every path toward the outcome truly needs to look identical. Question 5. What is the next decision to act? Because awareness without action can become another form of avoidance. Eventually you choose to win or lose, whatever you may choose. So if I could sit across from the girl who wrote these pages, I wouldn't tell her everybody was wrong about you. No, that's way too fucking easy. Some people probably saw things I genuinely needed to improve. I know that. I wouldn't tell her grades don't matter. They can. I wouldn't tell her, just follow your passion. Passion without skill, discipline, and reality can go absolutely nowhere. It did in my life at some points. I tell her something harder. Pay attention. Pay attention to where your mind comes alive. Pay attention to what you repeatedly return to. Pay attention to the problems you're unusually interested in solving. Learn the fundamentals even when they're uncomfortable. Don't turn a weakness into your identity, and don't turn strength into an excuse. And don't spend your entire life waiting for somebody else's system to discover what you're capable of, because eventually your life becomes your responsibility. I know that now. Years ago, I wrote, learning can be creative and done in multiple ways. I still believe that. But today, I'd like to add something. Potential isn't enough. Potential has to be developed, and development requires opportunity, instruction, feedback. Sounds a lot like school. Discipline sounds like a lot like parenting or something like that. Belonging, practice, and eventually a decision to stop interpreting every past failure as a prediction of your future, okay? A decision to understand yourself more accurately, a decision to build around what works while strengthening what doesn't, a decision to act. Maybe I didn't become Hannah Montana. Secret is that's probably for the best, honestly. But the kid who wanted to communicate, create, perform, act, build, and be heard, she wasn't completely wrong. Now was she? She didn't just have the language yet for what she was saying. Yeah, that's me, by the way. So if you're feeling like that, and maybe that's one of the greatest responsibilities we have when educating another human being, you guys, think about that. Don't just ask what they know. Help them discover what they're capable of becoming, and help them discover more. Anyways, I'm not Hannah Montana. I'm Tiffany Stansberry. This is Strategically Sold Stories. And this was episode 1, the Hannah Montana episode, the decision to act. Because sometimes the story you've been telling yourself about why you failed isn't the story you need for where you're going next. Strategy, story, authority, impact. Strategically Sold Stories. Close. By Stansberry Media and Strategy, LLC, duh. Thank you guys.